Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time, we're going to be talking about something that you do thousands of times a day without even thinking about it.
That's right.
Breathing.
Breathing.
Turns out there's a whole lot more to it than just, taking in oxygen and letting out CO2. So we're going to dive deep into your breathing toolkit for better health, restorative sleep, and deeper connection.
Great book.
See how we can use our breath to change how we feel and even how we think.
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think that we take something like 20,000 breaths a day, but most of us, we're totally unaware of it. It's like this untapped potential just waiting to be unlocked.
Yeah, like we're all walking around with this superpower that we don't even know we have.
Exactly.
This book really drives that point home.
Yeah.
That by understanding and controlling our breath, we can manage stress, improve sleep, even boost our creativity and performance.
For sure. The book talks about the breath as like a portal to our inner world. It's a two-way street. The way we breathe affects how we feel, and how we feel affects the way we breathe.
Yeah, I can see that. Like when I'm rushing to meet a deadline, feeling totally stressed out, I notice my breath gets all shallow and rapid. But then if I force myself to take a few deep breaths, I actually start to calm down a little bit.
For sure.
It's like my body's sending a signal to my brain, hey, chill out a little bit.
Exactly. The book actually recommends a simple technique called the physiological sigh.
Yeah.
For quickly resetting your nervous system. You just take a double inhale through your nose, followed by a long exhale through your mouth. It's like hitting the reset button on your stress response.
Oh, okay, we got to try that later.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this idea of optimal versus suboptimal breathing.
Yeah.
What exactly is optimal breathing, and why should we care if we're doing it right?
Think of it like this. Optimal breathing is like a well-oiled machine. Smooth, efficient, effortless. It involves breathing through your nose, engaging your diaphragm, and maintaining a slow and steady rhythm.
Okay.
Suboptimal breathing, on the other hand, is like a car sputtering on fumes, right?
Okay.
It's often characterized by mouth breathing, shallow chest breathing, and erratic rhythms. And this can have a huge impact on your overall well-being.
So if we're constantly breathing suboptimally, we're basically running on fumes.
Yeah, you could say that.
No wonder so many of us feel exhausted all the time. But is it really that common? I mean, isn't breathing just something our body does automatically?
Well, you'd think so. But the book mentions a pretty startling statistic. Up to 80% of adults may have some degree of dysfunctional breathing. Think about that for a second.
Wow.
There's a good chance you, listening right now, might not be breathing as well as you could be.
Yeah.
And that can have ripple effects on your energy levels, your focus, stress levels, even your sleep.
That's a real wake-up call. It makes me wonder about all the things in modern life that might be messing with our natural breathing patterns.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. We spend hours hunched over computers and phones. We're constantly bombarded with information and stimulation. And many of us live pretty sedentary lifestyles.
Right.
All of this can contribute to shallow chest breathing, mouth breathing, and a whole host of other dysfunctional breathing patterns.
Okay, so we're kind of setting ourselves up for suboptimal breathing without even realizing it. How does all of this tie into our nervous system? The book kept mentioning the connection between breathing and our fight or flight response.
Yeah, so your breathing patterns directly influence your autonomic nervous system, which is basically the control center for your body's automatic functions. Things like your heart rate, digestion, and yes, your stress response. Now, within your autonomic nervous system, you've got two main branches. The sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight system,
Okay.
and the parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest system.
Okay, so if we're picturing it like a car, the sympathetic is slamming on the gas and parasympathetic is pumping the brakes.
Exactly. And here's where it gets really interesting. Your breath can actually act like a steering wheel, influencing which system takes the lead. Short, shallow breaths, like when you're feeling anxious or stressed, activate your sympathetic nervous system, sending your heart rate soaring, putting your body on high alert. But slow, deep breaths, especially when you focus on extending your exhale, activate your parasympathetic nervous system, telling your body it's time to chill out.
So we can consciously choose which system we want to activate by changing the way we breathe.
Precisely. And the more we practice shifting between these two states, the more we develop what the book calls resilience,
Okay.
which is the ability to smoothly transition between high alert and calm focus as needed.
It's like having a superpower, that allows us to stay calm under pressure and adapt to whatever life throws our way.
Exactly.
Okay, this is all making a lot of sense, but it also feels a little overwhelming. How do we even begin to harness this power? Where do we start?
It all starts with awareness. You need to become aware of how you're breathing right now. Are you breathing through your nose or your mouth? Is your breath shallow or deep? Is it fast or slow? Just by bringing your attention to your breath, you're taking the first step towards changing it.
Right, but sometimes it feels like my mind is going a mile a minute, and I can't even slow down enough to notice my breath, let alone change it. Like, how do you begin to tune into those subtle sensations in your body when there's so much noise in your head?
That's where interoception comes in.
Interoception.
Yeah, it's like developing a sixth sense, the ability to tune into your body's inner signals. And believe it or not, breath awareness is one of the most powerful ways to cultivate interoception.
Yeah.
It's like building a bridge between your mind and your body, allowing you to become more aware of not just your breath, but all of your bodily sensations and emotions.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like once you become aware of your breath, it becomes easier to notice other things that are going on inside your body. Like right now, as I'm focusing on my breath, I notice my shoulders are kind of tense and my jaw's clenched. I didn't even realize I was holding all that tension.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of breath awareness. It opens the door to a whole new level of self-awareness.
Yeah.
And once you start to tune into those subtle cues from your body, you can start to make conscious choices about how you respond to them.
So the book mentions an exercise called the light breath pattern, where you just focus on taking light inhales and exhales through your nose. Is that one of the techniques for developing this interoception?
Absolutely. The light breath pattern is a great way to start cultivating breath awareness and interoception.
Okay.
It's simple, it's subtle, and you can do it anytime, anywhere. And it's a powerful way to shift your state towards a more relaxed and calm baseline without even having to think too much about it. It's like training your nervous system to stay chilled out, even when life gets crazy.
Okay, so awareness is step one. But once we're aware of our breath, what are some of the other tools or interventions we can use to actually change it?
Well, the book really hammers home the importance of nasal breathing as a fundamental pillar of optimal breathing.
I've heard that before. But what makes nasal breathing so much better than mouth breathing?
Well, for starters, nasal breathing allows for better oxygenation of your blood because the air is warmed, filtered, and humidified as it passes through your nasal passages.
Okay.
But there's more to it than that. Nasal breathing also helps produce nitric oxide, which is a molecule that plays a vital role in dilating your blood vessels and improving circulation. And perhaps most importantly, it stimulates the vagus nerve, which is like a direct line to your parasympathetic nervous system. Remember, that's the rest and digest system that helps you chill out.
So nasal breathing is like a triple whammy of benefits. And I'm guessing mouth breathing is the opposite, like throwing a wrench into the whole system.
Yeah, you could say that. Mouth breathing often leads to overbreathing, which disrupts the balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in your blood and can actually trigger your stress response. It's like sending a false alarm to your body that something is wrong, even when everything is fine.
This is all starting to click now. But the idea of breath holding being a superpower, that's a new one for me.
Yeah, it might sound counterintuitive, but conscious breath holding can be a powerful tool for interrupting those mental loops of worry and anxiety that can just spiral out of control. It's like hitting the pause button on your thoughts and giving your nervous system a chance to reset.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How does that actually work?
The book recommends an exercise called the conscious pause, where you simply hold your breath for a few seconds after an exhale. This brief pause creates a space for you to disengage from the constant chatter of your mind and shift into a more present and grounded state.
So it's like hitting the reset button on your nervous system.
Precisely. And here's a cool little detail. The book points out that holding your breath after an inhale actually tends to energize you, while holding after an exhale tends to calm you down.
Interesting.
So it's like having two different breath-holding tools in your toolkit, one for when you need a boost of energy and one for when you need to chill out.
This is fascinating stuff. But how do we actually integrate all of these practices into our busy lives? It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of daily demands and forget to breathe consciously.
You're absolutely right. It takes conscious effort, especially at first. The book talks about the problem of email apnea, which is this tendency to unconsciously hold our breath while we're on our computers or phones.
Oh my gosh, I totally do that. I catch myself holding my breath when I'm scrolling through stressful news or trying to figure out a complicated spreadsheet. No wonder I feel so tense by the end of the day.
It's incredibly common, and it's a major contributor to stress and anxiety. One simple tip the book offers is to take a few conscious breaths before engaging in potentially stressful activities.
Okay.
Things like checking emails, scrolling through social media, or having a difficult conversation. It's like giving yourself a mini meditation before you step into the ring.
I love that. It's like creating a little buffer of calm before you potentially step into the storm. But honestly, I need all the help I can get when it comes to remembering to breathe consciously. Are there any other practical tips that might help me actually integrate this stuff into my daily life?
One simple but surprisingly effective strategy is to set reminders throughout the day to check in with your breath.
Okay.
You could use your phone, a sticky note on your computer, or even just the natural transitions in your day, like before you start a new task or after you finish a meeting.
That's a great idea. I need something that will really grab my attention because it's so easy to get caught up in the flow of the day and forget to breathe properly, especially when I'm stressed out or feeling overwhelmed. It's like my breath becomes the last thing on my mind.
Right, and that's exactly when you need it the most. Another helpful tip is to pay attention to your posture throughout the day. Notice if you're slumping or hunching over your computer, especially when you're sucked into that email apnea.
Oh, the dreaded email apnea. It's like my breath just disappears when I'm staring at my inbox.
It happens to the best of us. But the good news is, simply becoming aware of it is a huge step in the right direction. Try setting a reminder to check your posture and take a few conscious breaths every hour. It might feel a little awkward at first, but I promise your body will thank you for it.
Okay, that sounds doable. Set reminders, check my posture, and be mindful of email apnea. I'm taking notes. What else?
Another really simple but powerful practice is to incorporate more movement into your day. Even just standing up and stretching for a few minutes every hour can make a big difference in how you breathe.
You know, that makes so much sense. When I think about the times I've been most aware of my breath, it's often when I'm doing something physical, like going for a walk, practicing yoga, or even just dancing around my living room.
Exactly. Movement helps to open up your chest, engage your diaphragm, and naturally encourages deeper breathing. Plus, it's a great way to relieve stress and boost your energy levels. It's like a win-win-win.
Okay, so we've got reminders, posture checks, movement breaks, and being mindful of email apnea. What else can we do to make conscious breathing a more regular part of our lives?
One of the best things you can do is to find little breathing moments throughout your day.
Okay.
Those natural pauses or transitions where you can consciously take a few deep breaths. It could be before you get out of bed in the morning, while you're waiting in line at the grocery store, or even just before you answer the phone.
Ooh, those are great ideas.
Yeah.
I like that it doesn't have to be anything formal or complicated. Just taking a few conscious breaths here and there can make a difference.
Absolutely. And remember, the more you practice, the more natural it will become. It's like building a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Speaking of muscles, what about that breath wave visualization exercise you mentioned earlier? That one sounded pretty intriguing.
Oh, yes. This one is all about retraining your breathing mechanics and encouraging a more diaphragmatic breathing pattern. It's like giving your diaphragm a workout, which is especially important if you're prone to shallow chest breathing.
All right, I'm ready to give my diaphragm a workout.
Great.
How do we do it?
Oh, we're going to have to save that for the next part of our deep dive.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be back to explore some of the practical exercises and techniques that can help you harness the power of your breath. Stay tuned.
Okay, so we're back, and I'm ready to really put some of this breathing wisdom into action. I'm especially curious about that physiological sigh you mentioned earlier. It sounded like a pretty quick and easy way to hit the reset button on stress.
Yeah, it really is. Remember, it's just all about taking a double inhale through your nose, followed by a long exhale through your mouth. It's like a supercharged sigh that just sends a signal to your nervous system that it's time to relax.
All right, I'm ready to give it a try. Do I have to sit a certain way or?
You can do it sitting or lying down, whatever feels comfortable.
Okay.
The important thing is to just bring your attention to your breath and follow the steps. So let's try it together. First, just settle into a comfortable position. And close your eyes if you'd like. Now take a full inhale through your nose. At the top of that inhale, pause for just a moment. And then take a little sniff inhale, top off your lungs. You should feel your chest and belly expand fully. Now gently release that breath with a long exhale through your mouth. like you're sighing out any tension or stress.
Okay, wow. I already feel my shoulders dropping. That's amazing. It's like all the tension just melted away with that exhale.
Right. It's incredible how such a simple technique can have such an immediate effect.
Yeah.
And the best part is you can use it anytime, anywhere you need a quick dose of calm.
Definitely adding this to my stress-busting toolkit.
Yeah.
So what other breathing exercises does the book recommend?
Let's try the 4.6 cadence breathing.
Okay.
This one is great for promoting a state of deep calm and improving your heart rate variability, which is a sign of a healthy and resilient nervous system.
Okay, I'm all about resilience. How does it work?
It's all about finding a rhythm. We're going to inhale for a count of 4, pause briefly, and then exhale for a count of 6.
Okay.
The extended exhale is key here. It really helps to slow down your heart rate and activate your parasympathetic nervous system. Again, just find a comfortable position and bring your attention to your breath. Place one hand on your belly, just below your navel. As you inhale, feel your belly expanding into your hand. As you exhale, gently press in with your hand to provide a bit of resistance. This helps to engage your diaphragm and encourages a deeper breath.
Okay, hand on belly, ready to go. What's next?
All right, let's start. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4. Pause briefly. Now exhale slowly through your nose for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Notice the gentle rise and fall of your belly as you breathe.
This feels so grounding. It's like my whole body is slowing down. I can actually feel my heart rate slowing down, which is pretty cool.
That's exactly what we want. Continue breathing in this 4.6 rhythm for a few more minutes, just focusing on the sensation of your breath and the gentle movement of your belly.
Okay, I could definitely get used to this feeling. It's amazing how much more relaxed and centered I feel after just a few minutes of this.
It really is remarkable, isn't it? And, these are just 2 examples of the many breathing techniques out there. The key is to find the ones that resonate with you and that you can easily incorporate into your life.
So, besides these more structured breathing exercises, are there any other ways to bring more conscious breathing into our everyday routines? I feel like I need some practical tips for actually remembering to do this when I'm not, in the middle of a podcast episode.
Absolutely. One super simple strategy is to use reminders throughout your day. You could set alarms on your phone, put sticky notes on your computer, or even use visual cues in your environment, like a particular plant in your office or a picture on your desk.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I need something that'll really grab my attention because it's so easy for me to get caught up in the flow in a day, and forget to breathe properly, especially when I'm stressed out or feeling overwhelmed. It's like my breath becomes the last thing on my mind.
Right. And that's exactly when you need it the most. Another helpful tip is to pay attention to your posture throughout the day. Notice if you're slumping or hunching over your computer, especially when you're sucked into that email apnea.
Oh, the dreaded email apnea. So, like my breath just disappears when I'm staring at my inbox.
It happens to the best of us. But the good news is simply becoming aware of it is a huge step in the right direction.
Okay.
Try setting a reminder to check your posture and take a few conscious breaths every hour. It might feel a little awkward at first, but I promise your body will thank you for it.
Okay, that sounds doable. Set reminders, check my posture, be mindful of email apnea. I'm taking notes. What else?
Another really simple but powerful practice is to incorporate more movement into your day.
Okay.
Even just standing up and stretching for a few minutes every hour can make a big difference in how you breathe.
That makes so much sense. When I think about the times when I've been most aware of my breath, it's often when I'm doing something physical, like going for a walk or practicing yoga or even just dancing around my living room.
Exactly. Movement helps to open up your chest, engage your diaphragm, and naturally encourages deeper breathing. Plus, it's a great way to relieve stress and boost your energy levels. It's like a win-win-win.
Okay, so we got reminders, posture checks, movement breaks, and being mindful of email apnea. What else can we do to make conscious breathing a more regular part of our lives?
One of the best things you can do is to find little breathing moments throughout your day. Those natural pauses or transitions where you can consciously take a few deep breaths. It could be before you get out of bed in the morning, while you're waiting in line at the grocery store, or even just before you answer the phone.
Ooh, those are great ideas. I like that it doesn't have to be anything formal or complicated. Just taking a few conscious breaths here and there can make a difference.
Absolutely. And remember, the more you practice, the more natural it will become. It's like building a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
Speaking of muscles, what about that breath wave visualization exercise you mentioned earlier? That one sounded pretty intriguing.
Oh, yes. This one is all about retraining your breathing mechanics and encouraging a more diaphragmatic breathing pattern. It's like giving your diaphragm a workout, which is especially important if you're prone to shallow chest breathing.
Okay, I'm ready to give my diaphragm a workout. How do we do it?
Just find a comfortable position, either sitting or lying down. And close your eyes if you'd like. Now bring your attention to your breath. And imagine a gentle wave of energy, like a soft ocean wave, flowing in and out of your body with each breath. As you inhale, visualize this wave rising up from your belly, expanding your chest and filling your lungs. As you exhale, imagine the wave receding back down, releasing any tension and leaving you feeling spacious and calm.
I'm loving this imagery. It's so peaceful and relaxing. It's like I can actually feel the wave moving through my body.
That's great. Now, as you continue breathing, try to visualize this wave becoming more and more vibrant with each breath. Maybe it has a color that resonates with you, like a calming blue or revitalizing green. Just allow yourself to be carried by the rhythm of the wave and notice how your body feels with each inhale and exhale.
This is so cool. I feel like I'm actually breathing more deeply, and my belly's definitely moving more than it usually does.
That's a good sign. It means you're engaging your diaphragm and allowing your breath to flow more freely.
Okay.
Keep breathing in this way for a few more minutes, allowing the wave to wash over you with each breath. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your belly as the wave expands and contracts.
Okay. I'm feeling very centered and relaxed now. My mind feels quiet, and my body feels like it's floating on a cloud.
Wonderful. This is a great practice to come back to anytime you want to reset your breathing mechanics or just cultivate a sense of deep relaxation.
This is definitely going into my self-care toolkit. I'm feeling the benefits already.
I'm glad to hear that. Remember, consistency is key. The more you practice these techniques, the more you'll strengthen your ability to use your breath as a powerful tool for well-being. And speaking of well-being, in the next part of our deep dive, we'll be exploring how optimizing your breath can actually help you unlock a state of flow.
Ooh.
That magical feeling of effortless focus and creativity that we all crave. Stay tuned.
So we've covered like a lot of ground here. Nasal breathing, the physiological sigh, the 4.6 cadence, even breath holding. But what really stood out to me from the book was how powerful our breath can be, like beyond just stress reduction. I mean, who knew it could even unlock a flow state?
Yeah, it is amazing how something so essential can also be the key to reaching that state of effortless focus and creativity. You know, when we're in flow, it's like everything clicks, our minds are sharp, our bodies are energized, and we're completely absorbed in the task at hand.
It's like being in the zone, right?
Exactly, yeah.
I know when I'm writing and I hit that flow state, the words just seem to pour out of me. It's almost like I'm not even thinking, I'm just channeling the ideas.
Yeah.
And when I think back to those times, my breath always feels so smooth and even.
Yeah.
It's like my body's working in perfect harmony with my mind.
That's exactly it. And the book suggests that by consciously cultivating optimal breathing, we can actually train ourselves to enter this flow state more easily and more frequently.
So it's not just about being calmer or less stressed. It's about tapping into like a whole new level of performance and creativity.
Exactly.
That's pretty exciting.
It really is. The breath is like this hidden key that can unlock our full potential.
This whole deep dive has been so eye-opening. It's amazing to think that we have this powerful tool within us all along, and most of us aren't even using it to its full potential.
Right. It's easy to take our breath for granted, but it truly is one of the most powerful tools we have, not only for managing our physical and mental health, but also for tapping into deeper levels of creativity, focus, and well-being.
So as we wrap up, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from this deep dive?
If I had to pick just one, it would be this. Your breath is your anchor. No matter what chaos is happening around you, your breath is always there, a constant reminder of your own inner strength and resilience. By learning to harness the power of your breath, you can navigate any challenge with more ease and grace.
That's beautiful. And on that note, I want to encourage everyone listening to take a moment right now to simply notice your breath. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your chest, the coolness of the air as you inhale, the warmth as you exhale. This simple act of awareness is the first step towards unlocking the transformative power of your breath.
And remember, consistency is key. Even a few minutes of conscious breathing each day can make a world of difference.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking us on this incredible journey through the world of breathwork.
It's been my pleasure.
And to everyone listening, keep breathing, keep exploring, and keep unlocking your full potential.